Okay, guys. So a question I get asked quite a bit. Sometimes it's during a riding lesson or when someone comes over or during clinic. They see me riding these young colts, doing a lot of colt startings, and they ask me why I ride one-handed so much when I'm on a young colt and I'm in a snaffle bit. And everybody knows that a snaffle bit outfit is considered a two-handed bridle setup. You're supposed to be riding around with two hands on a snaffle bit outfit. So they want to know, well, how come I ride one-handed so much? And I think that's a very fair question, but it's not a question I've put a lot of thought into to answering. But I always answered it because I always tell everyone, I have a reason why I do everything. If you ask me, I have a reason why. I can tell you why I do something. It's not just because, oh, I saw some so and so doing this, or oh, that's just the way grandpa said to do it. So that's the way I do it. I can always tell you why. It just took me a minute to think about why I do ride around one-handed so much because, like I said, it's not something I put a lot of thought into. But the first and foremost reason I do it is I find it's much more difficult for me to brace or hang on these reins or use them like a handlebar if I've only got one hand. If I've got two hands on these reins constantly, it's real easy for me to ride around with a tight rein or to have contact or to want to get stiff, bracy, and balance on this horse's mouth. If I'm one-handed, I tend to be a lot softer on this colt. It's a lot easier for me to stay out of his mouth, and it forces me to stay more balanced in my seat versus balancing with my hands. So that's the number one reason why I do it. The second reason I do it is it tends to slow me down. So a phrase that we use quite a bit that we learned from horseman Dennis Reis was prepare to a position for a transition, which basically means you have to prepare yourself to a position before you can ask your horse to do anything. And if I'm riding around one-handed in a snaffle bit and I want to make a turn and I've got my left hand on, say I want to turn to the right, well, I have to slow down, prepare. It means I have to pick this hand up, take my right hand, place it on the reins, pick up on the reins, and that forces me to slow down. And it gives that horse another 2 or 3 seconds head start to kind of figure out what it is that I'm wanting to do. It keeps me from being so fast. If I've already got two hands on the reins and I decide I want to go left, well, it's right there. I can go left at any time. But if I've only got one hand, I have to slow down, and that gives me that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi seconds. It's like pick up, put my hand on, slide down, bring the horse's nose around to the left. Then when I get his nose going to the left and his feet follow it, then I can let him go. And I go back to one-handed. So I'm not hanging on him. I'm not getting bracy. And it just keeps my horses a lot softer. So that's two of the main reasons why I do it. Another reason I do it is I get these colts a little further along and they get to reading my seat really well. They get to reading these bridle reins. They get soft. They get responsive. I can kind of start working on my neck reining a little bit. So if I've only got one hand on the reins, I can start testing and start asking this horse, if I pick up with one rein or with one hand, if I lay my outside rein, will you look off to the inside? If not, then I can use this hand, kind of tip his nose if he's already light enough. And I can start practicing going one-handed real easy. If I need to, hey, we're not playing. There we go. But if I need to, I can always reach down with my offhand, whatever, and tip his nose. Because when we start practicing neck reining these horses, what we always tell ourselves is lay the rein, tip the nose. It means we lay the outside rein on his neck, and then we tip his nose in the direction that we want him to go. So lay the rein, tip the nose. But those are the three main reasons why I ride one-handed all the time. And if you're out riding a young horse or if you're in a snaffle bit, I suggest you highly practice that. Try it out for a couple sessions. See if it doesn't help you out. See if it doesn't help slow you down, force you to sit better, have a little better balance in your seat versus hanging on a horse's mouth. So like right there, I've got two hands, and you can see he wants to get a little stiff and bracey. I just have to knock him back off of it. But it's real easy for him to get stiff and bracey if I'm constantly hanging on him. I'll get him soft right here. Waiting on him. Right there, he's soft, and then I go back, and I'll leave him alone. So if I'm not hanging, if I'm not pulling, it takes two people to have a tug of war. So if I'm not pulling on him, he can't pull on me. So like right now, I don't have a hold of him, so I don't really care where he goes because he can't pull on me. But those three reasons why I ride around one-handed in a snaffle bit is so I can't hang on him and brace on him with two hands, forces me to be softer, and it slows me down. So it gives this colt another 2 or 3 seconds to respond to what it is that I'm asking him to do so I can get prepared to a position for the transition. And the third reason is I can practice riding one-handed, which is what we want to eventually do with our colts, is ride them around one-handed in a shank bit. So I hope that helps you guys.